you people who have family members in distress and with brain issues. Can you tell us about some of the stories that you've encountered?
Yeah. So early on, I mean, for 5 or 6 years now, we realized that the ketogenic diet was really the cornerstone of what could be a very powerful metabolic therapy. And we published a paper and started getting people interested in our research. And when they reached out to us, they wanted to, they've either failed the standard of care, which is chemo, surgery, radiation, and chemo. So it was really kind of what most people do if they have aggressive forms of cancer. And the first person to reach out to me had a glioblastoma. And he was not in the United States, but wanted to incorporate this into his therapy because his brain tumor was so large that they couldn't do surgery on it. So he implemented the diet, and his tumor shrank to the point where they could actually go in and remove part of the glioblastoma. Probably one of the most rapidly growing deadly cancers that we know of. And it kind of resonates in my head because he was like really the first person to reach out to me, and that was over 5 years ago. About 5 years ago. He's still alive today, and if you know anything about glioblastomas, you about 1 year, give or take a few months, and if you go beyond 3 years, you're an outlier. You're like in that 5%. If you go 5 years, you're in like the 2% range.
That's stunning.
So that individual actually sends me every Christmas. He sends me some pictures of him and his family traveling in different places.
How wonderful.
The second person to really connect with me and implement it was Dr. Fred Hatfield. And Dr. Hatfield's kind of a local guy here in Tampa area or Clearwater area. And he was actually picked up by the news, and they did a story on him. He had prostate cancer, and it spread to his bones. And we know that in males that have metastatic bone cancer, about 85% of them got it because their prostate cancer was radiated. So the radiation that's used to hit the prostate cancer caused it to spread to the pelvis.
How awful.
And he had really extreme bone pain at the time when we met. Like he couldn't stand up and everything. And he implemented the diet. Having a sports background and a nutrition background, he understood the science behind it and was able to implement it in a very strict manner, and including periodic fasting, and then transitioning into a ketogenic diet that was, eggs and sardines, I think, olive oil, coconut oil, and rapidly recovered. So Dr. Fred Hatfield is alive today, and he's the president of ISSA, which certifies people for personal training, and he goes around the world and he gives lectures on, he's got many world records. I think he's written like 60 or 70 books. So he's now continuing kind of like he was in the prime of his life and continuing to educate people on his passions.